Alright, so now we're going to get into the introduction of the quadratic formula. In order for us to memorize the quadratic formula, there's like a cute little story that you guys can kind of memorize, and it'll help you guys with the quadratic formula. So here's how the formula goes. So the pessimistic B wasn't sure whether or not to go to this radical, it's a radical party where the bees were square dancing and they were playing cards. The deck was missing 4 aces and the party was all over at 2 a.m. I know this is a silly story, but if you memorize this story like say 10 times and you can recite it back, it'll really help you with the quadratic formula. So let's break it down. How does this make the quadratic formula? So the quadratic formula starts off with x equals, oh, by the way, the quadratic formula is another way for us to solve quadratic equations. And instead of doing the factoring method, we can use the quadratic formula, x equals blah, x equals blah. We can use the quadratic formula and get the 2 answers without doing factoring. So if you were struggling with factoring before, this might be your way out. If you're really good at this, you can take it all the way. Okay, so the quadratic formula comes from the story. The story starts off with the pessimistic B. The word pessimistic, that means negative, right? If someone's pessimistic, the pessimistic B means negative B. So x equals negative B. Wasn't sure whether or not. If someone isn't sure, that means they're kind of indecisive. That means it could be a plus or a minus. That's how we're going to represent that. So the pessimistic B, negative B, wasn't sure whether or not, plus or minus, to go to this radical party. So radical is going to take on this form, the radical. Okay, where the bees were square dancing. So bees were square dancing. That's going to be represented with b squared. B squared. And they were playing cards. The deck was missing 4 aces, so 4 AC. So missing means we're going to do minus 4 AC. And the party was all over. All over means this is going to be a division sign or a divide by. All over by 2 a.m. 2 a.m. is going to be represented with 2a. So this, whoops, that's lowercase that. So this is the quadratic formula. X is equal to negative b. Let me tap it for you guys so you guys can kind of see it. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, let's practice writing out the quadratic formula.